Hi, I'm Gretchen with Classy Fitness. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you recall yesterday, we talked a little bit about the three different types of lives as outlined by Brendon Burchard in this book that I just finished, which is Amazing, The Charge. And I wanted to continue on this discussion with you guys. You know, yesterday we talked about the three types of lives that he explained. The first one being the caged, then the comfortable, and then the charged. And I think we can all agree that we want a charged life, right? So today I want to give you some practical steps. I want to start getting into the, okay, I'm a busy mom, but what can I actually do phase of our talks. And let me give you some concrete examples of what you can do to try to start getting some charge back into your life. Now, in his book, Brendon Burchard talks about there's 5 baseline drivers in our everyday life. And those drivers are control, competence, congruence, caring, and connection. Now, if you're like me, the one that jumped out at you was control, right? As in the one thing that we all wish we had more of in our lives. Now, when he's talking about control, he gives us some tools or some activators, he calls them, of how we can get more control in our lives. And today we're going to talk about the very first one, and that is controlling your mindset. So when he talks about controlling your mindset, he's talking about controlling your outlook, controlling, you know, what's going on up here. We find, you know, very similar advice from St. Paul in his letter to the Philippians. And I'm going to read this because I'm not good at memorizing scripture and I don't want to get it wrong. So here it is. This is from Philippians 4:8. And St. Paul says, "Finally, beloved, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is pleasing, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, and if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things." Now, to me, right there, you know, even St. Paul is telling us to control our mindset and our outlook, right? So, 4 tips. Let's get going on what you can do today to control your mindset a little bit more. First and foremost, pray. I mean, I think that goes without saying, right? In 1 Thessalonians, you know, again, St. Paul is telling us, pray without ceasing. When our hearts and minds are focused on God, it's so much easier to make good decisions and have a better outlook on life. Now, if you need some tips on, you know, how to incorporate more prayer into your daily life, check out Father Mike Schmitz. He's one of my favorite podcasters. He's on Ascension Press. I'll include the link below this. I'll include the link below this. But he's got a really short podcast. I think it's like 5 minutes. That would be great to check out. Now, my number 2 tip is to respond, don't react. Now, for this one, I have to think back to Zig Ziglar, another of my just all-time favorite mentors. Zig Ziglar tells, you know, he talks about the difference between responding and reacting. Responding, think about when you go to the doctor and the doctor says, wow, you're responding to this medication. That's a good thing, right? But on the other hand, if you go to the doctor and the doctor says, your body's reacting to it, not such a good thing. The same goes in our everyday lives. Every time something happens to us, we have the choice. You can either respond or you can react. Now, this is a principle that I've shared with my kids over and over, and sometimes it comes back to haunt me because, you know, I'll trip over a toy or ask my kids to do something or something will go wrong, and my oldest will be, now, Mom, are you responding or reacting? So you got to be careful. But truly, I mean, I think it's an incredible principle to try to put in place in your everyday life, and especially if you have a little bit older kids. I mean, my oldest 2 are in elementary. It's a great time to start teaching them the difference between responding and reacting. My 3rd tip, turn off the bad TV shows and the bad music. Now, I'm going to leave it up to you what you define as a bad TV show or bad music, but I will leave you with this thought from Matthew Kelly. Does it help you become a better version of yourself? And if it doesn't, turn it off, go find something else. You know, I'm just as much as the other person. I mean, there are evenings when I want to sit down and just veg in front of the TV. And I'm not saying that you can't do that. But I'm just saying, be a little intentional about what you are letting come into your mind via the TV or the radio. And you know, the same thing, I try to instill this in my kids as well. And my oldest told me the other day that she told her friends that she was going to stop watching one of her favorite TV shows because she decided it didn't help her become the best version of herself. Now, again, what a great, you know, example for us to set for our kids, for them to have later in life, of just the maturity and the ability to say no to things that are not good for them. Now, my fourth tip is avoid negative people. Now, this is not, I'm not saying be unloving or uncharitable. I'm saying when you choose your inner circle of those closest to you, you need to be intentional about surrounding yourself with people that are going to help you become the best version of yourselves. If there are negative people out there, pray for them and be compassionate, but don't bring them into your inner circle. That is not good for your mindset. It's not good for your outlook. And ultimately, you know, the best thing that you can do for them is from a place of prayer, is to pray for them. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this afternoon, and I hope that you will join me for my next installment when we give some more practical tips that are based on Brendon Burchard's book, and but we kind of tweak them to apply them to everyday crazy mom life, right? I want to leave you with this quote. It's by George Herbert, who's a British poet. He says, "Do not wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand and work with whatever tools you have at your command, and better tools will be found as you go along." I hope you guys have a great day and work on that mindset and that outlook. You guys can do it. Take care. Bye-bye.